Hi, my name is Ava Kamdem. I am a newly graduate from Columbia University, having studied psychology. I am a newly executive director of Savhera Foundation, and I am a survivor of human trafficking. My vulnerability to being exploited happened well before I was ever introduced to my trafficker. When I was a child, around 4 years old, was the first time that I was ever physically assaulted. After that, I grew up in a really unstable household. My mother was sick from cancer. My father wasn't present, and we were living below the poverty line. After some time, around the age of 16, I was sexually assaulted twice, and I didn't have the correct mental health resources in order to really deal with these traumas effectively. So I ended up turning to a drug and drug addiction, and that was really where my life made a turn. I dropped out of high school, I was homeless, and really the entire time, my mother always said this: I never wanted to be on drugs. I always wanted to get sober. And it was really just, I had no idea how to live inside of my skin. And it felt like I just needed like help. I needed an out. And when I had met my trafficker, I was homeless. And I was actually homeless in Florida, a place that I had never been before. And I called a back page ad and I said, please, I just need a place to stay for the night. I just need a roof over my head. I'll leave in the morning. And from there, the female on the other line was, oh, well, what do you look like? What's your name? Can you send me a picture with a thumb up? Can you send me a picture with a peace sign? And after she was able to verify that I looked like the way that I did, she sent me an Uber and I went to the hotel. And from there, it was just glitz and glam and red bottom shoes and designer outfits. And she talked about this man who was amazing and asked if I wanted to meet him. And I was like, yeah, this life looks beautiful. Why would I not want to? And so the next morning, my cell phone was dead because I didn't have a charger. And I got in the car, and all of a sudden, I was driving 3 hours to a place where still today I have no idea where we ended up. And she was right. Everything that she said about the man was true. He was charismatic and charming and handsome and kind. And he told me that the abuse that I had endured, that was wrong. People shouldn't treat me like that, and that I deserved a much better life. And so in that moment, I really honestly felt like I was dropped off in heaven. And it wasn't until a couple days later where I was put on a plane and sent to North Carolina, where I was sold for the first time, that I realized, oh, this dream definitely comes with a price. And I was scared and I didn't know what to do. And after being manipulated and coerced by someone that had been trafficking for 20 years, I thought that I was in this life and I was going to get out eventually. And I didn't know how, but it would happen. And I ended up being trafficked for 3 years and endured a plethora of abuse, a plethora of unforeseen circumstances that I never wanted. And it wasn't until there was an intervention at the state level where we were all arrested. I was arrested alongside my trafficker, was where I finally was able to have a moment for my mind to do the thinking and for him not to interject every single time that I thought rationally. And so I was in that jail cell and I was thinking to myself, wait, he said this and that wasn't right. Wait, he did this and that wasn't right. And so it was finally the manipulation was coming under, and I made an outcry to my lawyer and I said, please send me somewhere that will teach me how to be a human. And by the grace of God, I went somewhere that was absolutely amazing. It was a faith-based organization. And I just remembered always feeling loved for no reason. I was terribly, you know, unkind. And I hate to say that, but it's true, because I was just so not trusting of people and I didn't know what to do. But they loved me anyways, and they treated me well, and they were kind to me, and they extended so many graces and resources towards me. And it really was, as the Bible says, where two or more are gathered, the presence of the Lord is there. And I had the privilege of feeling that every single day. And it was through that organization of really like the Lord's church within all of these believers coming around me that I was able to get significant healing. And from that, I just continually had the privilege of interacting with different believers. I ended up getting my first job, which was extended to me purely through grace. I had no job history. I had 3 federal charges. I had an ankle monitor on. I couldn't get a bank account. And it was just like, I felt like, okay, I'm never going to be able to leave this safe house. And then a woman named Dr. Vanessa Boucher, who ran Savhera, which was a for-profit organization, extended me a job, no questions asked. And she is an immense believer, a lover of God, and so is her husband. And they really just surrounded me with exactly what I needed, which was that protection, that love, that grace. And so, in my experience, when it came to interacting with believers, I have had beyond privilege. I feel like I know exactly the love of God just from being able to be surrounded for them. When it comes to the church, I actually have significant hurt with church. And that's really just because of the fact that sometimes, um, even though someone has the best of intentions or a church has the best of intentions, there's an underlining level of pride, and they'll do whatever they need to do in order to get where they're trying to go. And I unfortunately was subdued and was exploited for my voice, for my story, and it really hindered my relationship with the Lord, because I was like, wait, Lord, I thought that you were the one that was leading me here. And it ended up not being the case. But again, through the love of his believers, I was able to find my relationship back with him and my love back with him. And it ended up being beautiful. And today, I get to share that same beauty. As I said before, am beginning to be the executive director of Savhera Foundation. So we went from a for-profit to a nonprofit, where I get to share the love of the Lord every day, not necessarily saying it externally and preaching the Bible, but just showing his love, just like I was shown his love. And honestly, when it comes to people getting involved and people becoming a part of the movement and really helping survivors and being a part of the anti-trafficking movement, all it starts with is saying yes. If you're asked to do something, say yes. If you have a skill, whether that be you know how to budget your household, that's a skill. You know how to apply for food stamps, that's a skill. You have an exponential amount of funds after you pay all your bills in the month and you want to donate, that's also more than helpful. And so when it comes to getting involved, it's really just sitting with the Lord for a moment saying, okay, I have all of these blessings and these gifts. How would you like me to steward them for you and for your children? And so I just empower everybody to be able to take that moment, take that break, and really ask the Lord, how are you supposed to help and empower and be a part of the anti trafficking movement?